I'm still fighting a cough, so I've got these MXR cough drops. Hey, pedal nerds. Today, up for review, the Mad Professor 1. If you are a fan of Van Halen, which I have to admit, I'm not the biggest Van Halen fan. I'm definitely not a crazy Van Halen guy who knows all the riffs. Actually, I know none of them. Phil X almost unfriended me because of that. I don't know, not my thing.
You know that song? It's Van Halen. Van Halen 2?
Van Halen
What's the matter with you?
Van Halen's never been my thing.
Even the first 4 records.
Especially the first 4 records.
You like David Lee Roth?
I like David's solo stuff, but that stuff was too, I don't know, unstructured. I don't know.
See, unstructured. Reckless is a better word.
Yes.
You didn't even like. You didn't even like that? Okay, do it.
I couldn't. No, I don't know. It's never grabbed me. I've listened to them because you have to. Okay, you got it. And it's never grabbed me. And it was never like, holy shit, that's changing my life.
Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb right now and just openly say that I like you a little less right now.
But dude, handsome,
That's why!
That.
You like Van Halen. Oh my god, that totally makes sense!
Yeah, because I like good music!
Okay.
So if you're a fan of Van Halen, you know what 1 means. That's the sound. That is the sound that people want. It's the Van Halen 1 sound. It's the sound that came out and everyone was like, what? Because Eddie, first of all, introduced these new techniques. He did the dive bomby thing. He did the tapping. He did these things where people were like, what's going on? And then he had this mega blasted Marshall. He had that modded plexi sound. Based on what I read, he told everyone that a good friend of his modded his plexi. But he actually didn't. He just said that so that his friend in LA gets some work. He just cranked it up, he dimed it, and that was it. Then some people are saying he actually had the effects behind the amp. He powered it down with some power soak, then had the effects, and then had another power amp. There are so many rumors. The thing is, his sound was super high gainy plexi, reverb, which is weird for a rhythm sound if you ask me, but it works for him. And of course, here or there, and more here than there, a phaser. So, Mad Professor pretty much put the gain and the reverb in one pedal. You can put your phaser behind it, whatever you want. The Mad Professor 1, it is a poopish brown gold, which is beautiful. Why is it brown? Because Eddie called that the brown sound, that super saturated plexi thing. So this pedal is not meant to be a pedal that does a million things. It's giving you one thing, which is the brown sound with reverb. So kick it on, there's Eddie, kick it off, Eddie went home. It can do quite a bit more. If you followed some of my reviews lately, I've used it in a whole bunch of demos, especially the new TC stuff, all the modulation pedals, I've used this. It's just fun. So, my chain, whip, I don't know. I'm thinking of Kratos from, you know, God of War chain. I'm using a modern S-type guitar, a modern fucking Strat, which is this. It's not a modern Strat, it's an Ibanez, and we know it. It's the Steve Y Jem something. Because it is, Eddie kind of invented the modern Strat. He took a Strat and Frankensteined it. It's actually called the Frankenstein, where you put humbuckers in it, and it's an ugly piece of shit, but it's his guitar. So you have to use that kind of guitar. Boy, that's dirty. That's going into a Ditto X2, so we can check out a couple of amps with this baby, which we're gonna do later. Into the Mad Professor 1, into an, right here, MXR Phase 90 script, super old school, doesn't even have a 9-volt power in. So it's as old school as it can possibly be, probably something that Eddie used. What we would need now is a couple of Eddie Van Halen riffs, which I don't know how to play. So I'm gonna wing it. Maybe we want to even know, hey, what can this thing do if you don't play Van Halen? Which is what I want to know. Right now, that is going into the Vox AC30, which is nice in MIDI, being powered by the Strymon Zuma. Nice! So here's my clean sound, and we're gonna go in bridge because that's pretty much where it's at. Should we get that a bit cleaner? Let's get that a bit cleaner, come on. Even though for that type of sound, it's okay to have a little bit of breakup happening. So there's our clean sound. It's almost clean. We have brown, which is gain, but it's not really, because you can't really adjust the gain on this. It's wow all the time. So let's maybe call it more how saturated it is. We have, what is that, presence? So it's a high frequency thing. And we have the reverb, which you can only just dial in or out, and level. So let's go here. I don't think he played major 7 arpeggios, did he? Everything you play just wow! It's just beautiful. It's just it thins out the bass. It's pretty much hit it and you're right there. Usable sound in a band, not too much bass. It's screamy. The reverb doesn't get in the way. What the fuck else do you want? He liked Sus 4, I think. Every knob on this thing acts subtly because you're right there where you want to be, just adjust it a little bit. It's not a flexible pedal, it's the one. I want to get out my spandex, not that I have any, but that's what it makes you feel. You play it and you feel like, where's my pink spandex and my hairband? And it's fun. I don't like that because Eddie's phaser sound was subtle. So if you ask me, it needs to be before the drive. Because if the drive comes first, the phaser has a lot more frequencies to phase. So I'm thinking if it's before the one, it's going to be more subtle and more like what Eddie actually used. What do I know? Let's check it out. Let's do some lead stuff and I'm gonna pretend that I can tap. That's how you get it subtle, guitar volume. Just great. So let's stay right there and we're gonna record a loop and send it into a couple different amps. So here we go, we have a loop. I'm gonna start with the Carl Martin Custom Shop 50 right about there. So you can clearly hear that in comparison, the Vox didn't have all that bass, but that's kind of nice. So let's stay on the Carmarthen, give you a couple more sounds, just to let you hear that this thing can roar if you wanted to. So, my 2 cents, what is there to say? You want that 80s hairband spandex sound all in one, hit it, and you're rockin'! Mad Professor 1 just delivers. It's fun. You don't need a billion things. You just hit that and you're right in the fucking zone. That's my opinion, folks. $200, I think, around that. Great build quality, made in Europe as far as I know. What else do you want? You want Eddie, you got Eddie, go away now. Links under this video. Thanks, guys.